I started making short films in 2007 in middle school. My first camera was this little point and shoot that couldn't record anything more than 30 seconds at a time at the worst resolution, like no frames per second, potato quality. But that's where I started, and it was great because I had nothing before that. Eventually though, I kind of felt like I needed to move up, get something more technologically advanced. So I moved up to a mini DV tape camcorder. I went through the ups and downs of working with mini DV tapes. I taught myself how to import all the footage into a cracked version of Adobe CS2. And let me just say, working with mini DV, working with tapes, it sucks. You have to manually cycle through the tape, rewind all this stuff. It's just a complete pain. And then by the end of my high school, everyone started making films on digital SLRs, the 5D Mark II, the 7D. It was the new hot thing. Big sensors, interchangeable lenses. And I looked at my old mini DV camcorder and I thought, well, forget tape. At some point, I gotta upgrade this camera too. And eventually I did. But by the time I got the DSLR, it was already old news. This new camera has actual HD. It has more dynamic range. It's the thing that you need for the next step in your career. For a while, at least to me, camera technology was advancing so rapidly that it was really hard not to fall behind by the time you're able to even afford a new camera. I did so much research on the newest camera tech, dynamic range of the sensor, low light, frame rates, resolutions. I researched the crap out of these things because I thought that that's what I needed next. I needed all these new things in a new camera for the next step in my filmmaking journey. But why did I even think this? YouTube is absolutely flooded with gear reviews, gear demos, gear comparisons. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Like, the new stuff is exciting. But over time, if you keep watching these videos, what you might start thinking is that the camera that I own right now is just not good enough. And my films are gonna suffer because of that. But does getting that new camera really make you a better filmmaker? The answer is no. You know it, I know it. It's just nice to have new things. We are totally spoiled for cameras in 2024. Basically, everything that comes out shoots beautiful 4K video these days. Even your phones. Your phones can shoot 4K and it's great looking. Sure, higher end cameras do have more features than the cheaper stuff. Better image quality, better color. I'm not arguing that phones are just as good as the Alexa Mini, but I guarantee you that when you put out a film, absolutely nobody is gonna ask you what you shot it on, except for other filmmaking people. Cameras are just tools. They're cool tools, but in the grand scheme of the film, it's only just one part. You can't fix a bad story with the newest camera. You can't fix set design, bad acting, bad performance, bad editing, bad sound with 16-bit 444 uncompressed raw footage. You can't do it. The nice camera is like sprinkles on top of a cupcake. It's nice and it adds to the cupcake, but it is not the cupcake. I suck with similes, I don't even eat cupcakes. Couple examples, the 2015 indie movie Tangerine, directed by Sean Baker, was shot on smartphones. And it looks like it was shot on smartphone. There's no denying that. But it didn't get into Sundance because it was shot on smartphones. It got into Sundance because it was a good film. The story, the characters, the topics, it was all really, really good, really well written, really well directed. It was a solid film, and it just happened to be shot on smartphones. Meanwhile, in 2023, we had this movie called The Creator, which was filmed on the Sony FX3. Every PR piece I read about was focused entirely on that fact. Like, wow, a big Hollywood sci-fi epic filmed entirely on a prosumer digital video camera that cost maybe a couple $1,000s. And it is amazing, but in my opinion, no matter what camera was used to make that movie, it wasn't gonna save that rather underwhelming script. The story is what it is. A camera can't change that. All this to say is, if you want to make a film, focus on your story, because story really is everything. If your story is worth telling, it doesn't matter what you filmed it on. And also the sound has to be good. Don't forget about sound. Say you're ready to add the sprinkles to your film with a higher end camera. You can just rent it. The fact is, you can rent an Alexa Mini, which is basically one of the cameras of the past decade. You can rent a kit for maybe $400 a day. And that's just the most extreme example. Am I just saying this because I'm poor? Maybe. But if I was rich, I would think the exact same thing. And look, if you're a working director of photography, you charge a kit fee, you're an owner-operator, none of this applies to you. The camera is part of your trade, okay? Go for it. I'm just trying to say that, in my opinion, it's not the camera that makes a film good. It's about the story. It's about frame composition. It's about characters. It's about all the people behind the camera and everything that is in front of it, not the actual camera itself. If you want to make films, don't get caught up in consumerism. You're never going to catch up, especially in camera world. This is a reminder to you and me to take that old, outdated camera, go out there and make something cool with it. I can't even imagine being 13 and having this as my first camera. This is such a capable piece of gear for someone just starting up. How lucky are we to have so many tools at our disposal to create stories and to make films? The possibilities are truly endless, so don't let tech hold you back. And be grateful you never had to work with tape. This shit sucked. If you have any questions for me or ideas for future videos that you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments. Otherwise, I'm just gonna continue talking about whatever crosses my mind. Either way, thank you for watching and see you next time.